It's my great pleasure to ask Councillor Gillian Coughlin, who's Deputy Mayor of Cork County, to initiate proceedings for the evening. Gillian, please.
Gormagat Alan. A cóir de gael, céad míle fáilte go Ceantáile. It is my pleasure as Deputy Mayor of the County to welcome you all to Kinsale, my own municipal district here this evening. To Ambassador Hu in particular, you are so very welcome. To Senator Jerry Buttimer, Cathaoirleach of Shanadairn, indeed, céad míle fáilte Rót Comá. Alan Dukes and all dignitaries, particularly my fellow councillor, Councillor Marie O'Sullivan, who provides the céad míle fáilte here in Kinsale on a daily basis in her beautiful cafe. You are very welcome here this evening. Kinsale is a great place for forging links, forging friendships and lasting friendships. From all over the world, people travel to Kinsale to meet, to break bread, to make deals and to forge friendships. I think that tonight will be one of those nights. I'm sure of it. Here in the room we have people representing business and commerce, academia, agriculture, the wide gamut of our economy and our society. And indeed, from China we have that as well. As a former mayor of the county, I know how deep the links are between Jiangsu and Cork County, and I know from my city colleagues how deep the roots are between Cork City and Shanghai. People and people, people linking people. This is how the world will continue to progress and hopefully continue peacefully into the future. And we're part of that here tonight, in this twinning, in this friendship, in this circle. So I wish you all so very well. I thank you for coming together. I thank the organisers for organising it. And I hope that we will continue to do this into the future, because it is really in meeting that we understand each other and that we can continue to grow and to prosper as individuals, as communities, as countries, and as a family of nations. So cóirde, céad míle fáilte agus buinigí tanamh as an tránóna. Gur míle maith.
Gormagat, Gillian, and I may say personal congratulations to Gillian on emerging unscathed from a recent difficult electoral contest. It's my great pleasure to introduce our keynote speaker for the evening, who, as I said earlier today, has been a friend of mine for a good many years, who has a long history, which I will give an abbreviated form of political representation in this country. Jerry Buttimer, the original, was a teacher and a monitor of adult education. And he first got involved in politics when he was elected to Cork City Council in 2004. That was 2 years after my political demise, but I had known Jerry for some time before that and continued to enjoy his company in various fora for some time afterwards. He went on then in 2007 to get elected to Shanadairn, the upper house of our legislature. And some of you will know that the process of getting elected to Shanadairn is a long, complex, devious and mysterious process. And the electorate, apart from the university seats, the electorate is members of Dáil Éireann and members of local authorities around the country. And at that time, in 2004, when I was no longer in active politics, my wife was a county councillor in County Kildare, so Senate candidates still tended to visit my house looking for votes. And Jerry Buttimer arrived one evening to speak to my wife, and I was delighted that people didn't want to talk to me anymore. They wanted to talk to the important person in the house, who for the purpose of Senate election is a voter, a county councillor. And Jerry did say hello to me as he came in the door, and he went off with my wife then to have a discussion about politics. And after he'd left, she said, "I'm going to vote for him." And I have to say, Jerry, in case you get too many ideas about it, you were the second person about whom she made that remark. The other one was going on a different panel, so he wasn't in competition with you. But Jerry got elected to the Senate, in that year, in 2004, and had a very substantial career in the Senate. It's an inadequately appreciated part of our legislature, and its main function is to review legislation before the Dáil makes a final decision. It can delay. But I have to say, from my own personal experience in ministerial office, excuse me, I got a cold on holiday in sunny Brittany, where it rained all last week. My apologies for that. But Shannon Éireann has a much bigger function than you would think from reading the Constitution, because it gives a final opportunity for people who often know more about what they're talking about than members of Dáil Éireann do because of their electoral background. It can frequently substantially improve legislation, and Jerry was part of efforts, successful efforts, to review and improve many pieces of legislation during his term in Shannon Éireann. And he was government leader in the Shannon for a time. I have to get these dates right. He then got elected to Dáil Éireann in 2011, which was a very important election because it marked a substantial change in the course of government in this country. And he was a member of the Dáil for that whole Dáil period. After that Dáil period, he was re-elected to the Shannon and gradually moved in his activities through committees, joint committees of the Oireachtas on many issues, and most particularly on issues pertaining to social justice. And in the current Shannon, he has become Cathaoirleach of the Shannon, the Speaker of the House, and is widely respected. I want to say, Jerry, that we are honoured to have you here, not only for the office that you hold, but also for the contribution that you made to Irish politics, Irish political life, and social justice in Ireland during the course of your career. And it now gives me great pleasure to give you the floor.
Ambassador Hugh, Deputy Mayor of the County, and congratulations to Gillian on her election, and to my good friend Councillor Marie O'Sullivan, Cagardagus last freshen agus Ganeri lat Asupton Towa. Martin from Asia Matters, thank you for the wonderful invitation tonight here. Casulish on last fair is more an ordum ve an seo enocht ag glortling con Kilura agus con disprog to goal in an art alling shock Tiantala agus in Akalum Cade Mila Falter of Galair. I'm honoured to be here in Kinsale tonight to address you and to speak to you and to thank you for your participation in a very important summit this afternoon on tourism and on the link between Ireland and China. And the theme of today's conference is an opportunity in a post-COVID world, in a world that's fraught with economic difficulty, to develop a friendship, an economic tie, and a bond that can be further accentuated by our two countries. And it's appropriate at this, what we call this stakeholder dinner, that after a very engaging day of discussion, that Ambassador Hugh is with us, because in my time in the Oireachtas, I've dealt with many ambassadors, and he and I have become good friends. He's a very forthright, very strong, very assertive person, but a very warm, engaging, and knowledgeable man. And I want to thank him for what he's done on behalf of both our countries, the governments and the people, for forging and developing that link. So, Ambassador, thank you. It is about partnership, and we're celebrating 45 years of Ireland-China relationship. And the context of today is best summed up by a number of pieces of the jigsaw that I've spoken about earlier. The innovation and the foresight of Cork City and Cork County Council in terms of twinning, and I want to thank them for that. We're joined by the Chief Executive of Cork Chamber, Conor Healy, whom I have to pay huge tribute to for his sterling work in driving one side of the relationship from our side and here in Cork. And it does need a catalyst. It does need somebody outside of the political forum to be that voice, to be that champion, to be that advocate. But it also requires somebody to hold people to account. And I want to pay tribute to Conor and the Cork Chamber for what they have done. So thank you, Conor. And it does need partnership, and it does require us to have people who will, if you like, drive the relationship and make sure that it's not one-sided. It isn't all going east or it isn't all going west. It's both sides. And that's why tonight we are celebrating 45 years of a diplomatic relationship. And cast our minds back to this time in 1979 and the type of world we lived in and what was an offer in the world in terms of travel, in terms of lack of internet connectivity. China was X thousand miles away. The Chinese people were unknown to us and vice versa. Today, we live in a global village, and the connectivity of our peoples is very strong. And I want to thank Seamus Heaney for the huge work that he's doing. I don't know, as a Cork Convention Bureau, Pure Cork, Discover Cork, but whatever it is, thank you, Seamus, for the work that you do. And I cast my mind back to 2012 in a dark period of Irish economic history, in a world where we were struggling. We had very few friends, if we can all recall those dark days. But it was the visit of a certain Chinese leader, the friendship with Enda Kenny, the decision by the then Minister for Agriculture, Simon Coveney, and that government to work with and to use one of our best products we have, dairy, and Jason's here from Carberry Group, and agriculture to link with China. And that has been a huge benefit to us. And Ambassador, it was a milestone. In my mind, it was a catalyst for the recovery of our country at a time when we were economically challenged. And I want to acknowledge the economic, social, and political ties that have developed in those 45 years between Ireland and China. We use the term in political world bilateral relations. It really should be used in a much better way, the interpersonal relations that all of you in this room have forged and form every week and every month and every year with our counterparts and our friends in China. It is about both directions working together. And it is important for us, and I know it probably grates on people, and Alan Dukes this morning was slagging us about Cork being the second city or Cork being better than most. But we are the leading driver as both city and county on twinning. That's a fact. And Ger from MTU is here, and MTU and UCC have been in education, again leading the way. And the 10th anniversary of Asia Matters isn't just a mark on a calendar. It's heralding the development of partnership, of relationships. And in a world where that is becoming less important for some, for Ireland, China, it must be at the corner and the heart of what we do, is that relationship and that partnership, which is epitomised by the work that Martin is doing. And so our theme today of tourism, and we're in the Wild Atlantic Way, and we are in the best part of the world for food in Kinsale, and you should go to Marie's Cafe tomorrow before you leave. The food is wonderful. The hospitality might be a bit grouchy depending on the humour she's in. But I jest now. I'm getting her back for slagging me a couple of weeks ago. But you are in a wonderful part of the world. In our city of Cork, we are changing. In a COVID world, we pedestrianise streets. In a post-COVID world, we're reimagining how our city should look like and should act in a new world. And I want to welcome the President of Cork Business Association, Aaron Mansworth, who's also involved in the hospitality sector, and another great champion of Ireland and of Cork. And I want to thank you and wish you well for the year ahead for you, Aaron. And we are on the food capital of the world, and Jason and Carberry can speak far more eloquently than me about the importance of agriculture between our two great countries. But friends, when we speak about the creation of sustainable tourism, we need leaders. When we speak about developing the synergies between our universities, we need people to develop that. And when we speak about twinning, it requires all of us to be part of that process and to be part of that engagement. And that's why in this room tonight, each one of you are very important in continuing that link. There are many competitive forces outside there that are challenging all of us around tourism and around food, around economies. And Cork, with our proud heritage, our rich history, our strong economic ties to all parts of the world. I was in San Francisco for St. Patrick's Day in California, in different cities. I'm very proud of the work that we're doing as a city and a county, and I go back to the chamber again. It didn't happen by chance. It happened because of vision, foresight, and work. And that's why I'm looking forward to the rebirth of the numbers of tourists from China increasing, and hoping that we in Cork can benefit from that. Cognizant of the power of tourism and of the importance of people. It's a value that we cannot take for granted, we cannot lose sight of as a government and as those of us in charge with responsibility in the Oireachtas, the whole government to account. And we must ensure that our product leaves the person that comes to our country with a positive experience. Because the best encounters we can have here are with our people. Whether it's the people that serve us the food, that produce the food, that grow the food, that cook the food, it's the impression it leaves. And we're a warm people with a proud culture of music and of song and dance. And that's why, Ambassador, I hope that we can continue to be that haven of hospitality that lies at the heart of what we do best in Ireland, and that our Chinese friends will continue to come back and to visit. Alan Jukes was very generous in his remarks to me tonight and today. He's been one of my heroes in political life, I can say that now. His wife was very discerning in her vote in the Shannon, and it was what he didn't say was in that panel, there was a very competitive panel of which included a former government minister, Taoiseach, MEP, and maybe soon to be something else in the political world. And I always remember I was in Kildare that day, and I had met a number of Kildare County councillors who were, those of you who did the Shannon or will do the Shannon, Gillian and Marie, will know that they all say yes, and they all definitely might say no to you. But I met a great friend of yours and mine, Spike Nolan. And Spike said, you have no chance with Fionnuala anyway, because she won't like you really. So I was kind of going in with an open mind, and I had an extraordinary visit with now a great friend of mine, Fionnuala, and Alan and I had soldiered together in Fine Gael through Executive Council, Regional Council, when he was the then leader of Fine Gael, after he left that position. But our country has been fortunate that we've had many fine politicians of all hues in political life serving a cabinet. Alan Jukes is one of those people. And those of you who are old enough to remember the Tallaght strategy, and Damien, you were probably one of those, will remember that the Tallaght strategy was the forerunner to the government we have today, to the conferences of supply agreement we had in the last Dáil. But Alan Jukes was a politician of conviction. He was a man of vision and intelligence, and I'm proud that he is my friend, and I thank you for your kind introduction. Thank you. And it segues me into the point, Ambassador, around twinning. And that discussion today around higher education and twinning is very important. And I hope we will never lose that. And I know that in Cork we will certainly not let it go. And I've already spoken to the new Lord Mayor of Cork, Councillor Dan Boyle, and highlighted to him the importance of it from a Cork City point of view. Friends, there's much we can celebrate in 45 years. Economic and cultural perspective that we know we've achieved. It's about supporting local business. It's about, as you said today, Ambassador, the relationships that we have in different business zones around the airport and around economic ties. We have a wonderful tourism product in Ireland. It's an opportunity we have to showcase our country and demonstrate the importance of Ireland as an attractive location to visit. Can I conclude by saying that the Department of Tourism under Minister Martin, the Department of Foreign Affairs under Minister Martin are developing an Asia-specific policy, building upon the success of the last one. The Minister for Foreign Affairs, Micheál Martin, to give him huge credit, has been in your country a number of occasions. He became Minister and Taoiseach, cementing the positivity of the relationships and the importance of our two countries together. Ambassador, you and I have met, I think, 4 delegations from China in this calendar year alone this year. Welcome to our Oireachtas, welcome to our legislature. Deputy James O'Connor, as we speak, is leading a delegation to China on behalf of the Oireachtas, reiterating the importance of our relationship as we speak today here. In conclusion, can I reiterate my personal gratitude to you all for the wonderful work that you are doing, Martin, on behalf of all of us. To speak about the unique relationship that we do have, I know in many parts of the world, Ireland has a unique relationship, but we have a really unique one with China. One that we have worked hard on together, one that we don't take for granted, one that we don't always agree on different issues, but we can park our differences to work together on behalf of our two peoples and our governments. Friends, Alan said I've spent 20 years in public life, 17 in the Oireachtas. I'll finish on this. Ambassador, you're someone I admire. You're someone I respect greatly. I value the work that you do, and the importance of what you do lies in the outcome and the import of what we achieve on behalf of both our governments. So thank you, and thank you all. Enjoy your evening, enjoy the food. It's a great place to be and to live. Can I thank the hotel staff for looking after us, for those that have looked after us before we eat. I know there's whiskey at the bottom of the room that you will enjoy as well. This is a unique opportunity in a world that is fraught in a geopolitical level. Let us grasp that together, and let us be a beacon of hope for the world in terms of Ireland and China. Thank you very much indeed.